Another petition from Russians to Russian dictator Vladimir Putin regarding the so-called SVO has been published. Relatives of missing occupiers from the 25th Assault Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces are asking him to deal with the lawlessness. They tell about the total lawlessness that the commanders of this unit are committing. There is a whole set. Extortion of money from soldiers, sending them on meat assaults to certain death, forming crippled regiments, refusing to evacuate, and much more. Many of us have been looking for our loved ones for over 2 years, and we cannot get any clarity from the command. The command of the unit, represented by commanders with the call signs Tiger and Eagle, throw our soldiers as expendable material into assaults, completely unprepared, without reconnaissance, cover, or artillery support. Soldiers are sent to assaults after serious injuries who are unable to hold a weapon. At the front, these commanders have introduced rates and extortion of money. If you pay, you will sit in the dugout. If not, you go on a one-way assault. Any attempts to call the commanders to justice automatically lead to sending them to the hottest spot on the front line. The leadership of this unit is engaged in forging the signatures of soldiers. The wounded die on the battlefield due to the lack of evacuation. They simply bleed to death, they say. Relatives note that this is not the first time they have turned to Putin for help. Despite the lack of results, they continue to appeal to the dictator. We understand the goals of the SVO, but did you set such goals? How is this possible in a state governed by the rule of law? Vladimir Vladimirovich, help us. Give the order to sort this out, the Russians said. Over the 3 years of full-scale war, thousands of similar statements have appeared from Russian soldiers and their relatives. The Russian dictator has not responded to any of them.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived in Hungary's capital early Thursday to red carpet treatment despite a warrant for his arrest issued by the world's top war crimes court. According to Associated Press, Hungary's government, led by its populist Prime Minister and Netanyahu ally, Viktor Orbán, used the occasion of the Israeli leader's visit to announce it will begin the procedure of withdrawing from the International Criminal Court. Just as Netanyahu met with Orbán for a welcome with full military honors in Budapest's Castle district, Orbán's chief of staff, György Gulyás, wrote in a brief statement that the government will initiate the withdrawal procedure on Thursday, in accordance with the constitutional and international legal framework. At the welcoming ceremony kicking off Netanyahu's visit, only his second foreign trip since the ICC issued the warrant against him in November, he stood alongside Orbán as a military band played and processions of soldiers on horseback and carrying swords and bayonet rifles passed by. The two leaders were set to hold talks later on Thursday. Netanyahu will spend several days in Hungary before departing on Sunday. The ICC, based in The Hague, Netherlands, said when issuing its warrant there was reason to believe Netanyahu and former Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant used starvation as a method of warfare by restricting humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip, and intentionally targeted civilians in Israel's campaign against Hamas, charges that Israeli officials deny. Member countries of the ICC, such as Hungary, are required to arrest suspects facing a warrant if they set foot on their soil, but the court has no way to enforce that and relies on states to comply. After the ICC issued the warrant in November, Orbán accused the world's only permanent global tribunal for war crimes and genocide of interfering in an ongoing conflict for political purposes, saying the move undermined international law and escalated tensions. His invitation to Netanyahu was in open defiance of the court's ruling. Hungary joined the court in 2001 during Orbán's first term as prime minister. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky visited a medical facility for injured servicemen in the city of Dnipro on Tuesday. According to Associated Press, Zelensky presented state awards to the soldiers who his press office called Defenders of Ukraine. "Thank you to every soldier for the important struggle, for courage, service, and defense of our country," Zelensky wrote on his Telegram social media page following the visit.
Будемо сподіватися, що врятуємо, він зараз піде в операційну.
Він завжди повний.
Будемо сподіватися, він тільки заїхав, вкрай важкий. Будемо сподіватися, що врятуємо, він зараз піде в операційну.
Пане президент, Василь, доброго дня.
Позитивно, я бачу, настрій нормальний.
Дуже позитивно.
Да, веселий.
Поважайте хлопців.
Дякуємо вам за службу. Сергій Віталійович, дякую за службу.
Президент України Володимир Зеленський.